Hi, my name is David Logston, and a couple of years ago I worked with an HR manager in a manufacturing plant that had about 1,200 employees. Now this plant was experiencing some very serious and chronic quality issues. The HR manager decided to look at their defect tracking system, which had been in place for some time. But when he began to analyze the data, some very interesting information began to surface. He found that most employees would average somewhere between 2 and 5 defects a month. But he also found that in most areas, you might have 1, 2, or maybe 3 employees that would average 16, 21, 27 defects a month. The bottom line was this: 12% of their employees were creating 63% of their defects. We then turned our attention to supervision and leadership. How are quality issues being addressed on the floor? We found most supervisors would fall into one of 3 categories. We had one group of supervisors who had no problem sitting down with an employee, having a candid, open, two-way discussion. When this conversation was over, some kind of strategy would be put in place. We had another group of supervisors. They too had no problem sitting down and having a discussion. But when they talked with an employee, it was one-way communication. It was often very blunt, sometimes even critical and demeaning to the employee. Very often after this conversation, somebody else in management had to get involved. And the last group of supervisors that we found were the type of supervisors that would avoid this conversation altogether. Now, 2 things turned this plant around. First, the management group did a very good job of revising the quality policy. It was very creative, it was simple, it was well defined. They also did an excellent job of communicating it and explaining it to all the employees so that it was understood by everyone. Now this way, the 88% of the employees that were doing their job did not feel threatened and they did not feel punished. The next important part of this process is we trained all supervisors on how to have this one-on-one performance discussion. And really for the first time, quality was enforced consistently throughout the plant. Within 2 weeks, this plant had a dramatic decrease in their quality issues. If you think this information could benefit your company or your organization, just send me an email or give me a call. Thank you so much for taking up your valuable time to watch this presentation.